The morning sun spilled across the glass facade of Altura Airlines headquarters in downtown Chicago, casting long rays over the boardroom table. From her position at the window, Miranda Ellis could see planes rising from O'Hare in the distance, tiny silver birds catching the wind, each one representing hundreds of passengers, hundreds of experiences. And right now, those experiences were at the center of her concerns. Miranda Ellis, the newly appointed CEO of Altura, was not a woman who sought the spotlight. At 53, she was reserved, methodical, and fiercely committed to her roots. She had started Altura 3 decades ago as a flight attendant and had worked her way through every rank imaginable, from cabin crew to supervisor, from regional director to head of operations, and now to the top seat. It had only been 8 months since she'd stepped into the CEO role, following the unexpected retirement of her predecessor. She turned away from the view and faced her executive team seated around the gleaming table. "The quarterly numbers are impressive," said Mason Grant, the CFO, adjusting his tie. "Revenue is up 12% compared to last year." Miranda nodded, but said nothing. Her gaze drifted back to a plane taking off far below. Her silence shifted the energy in the room. "But I'm more concerned about customer satisfaction," she finally said. There was an uncomfortable rustle among the executives. "We've had some bumps there," admitted Layla Andrews, the VP of Customer Experience. "Staff interaction complaints have risen, especially in first class." Miranda arched an eyebrow. "Define interaction complaints." Layla tapped her tablet, then read. "Many guests feel they're being judged by appearance, casually dressed travelers reporting dismissive attitudes from crew, unequal treatment compared to those in business attire." "Elitism," Miranda said, her tone dry. Layla nodded. Miranda sat slowly. "On an airline, I started within polyester heels and a smile that hurt by the end of every flight." Some of the older executives exchanged quiet glances. They knew her story. The younger ones only saw the polished woman at the head of the table, not the one who'd once worked 16-hour shifts wiping down tray tables and calming toddlers at 38,000 feet. "Do our newer employees even know my background?" Miranda asked. "Not many," said Layla. "You've kept a low profile." Miranda nodded. "Maybe that's part of the problem." Her assistant, Jordan, slid a tablet across the table. Miranda scanned the latest round of feedback. "Your first-class staff treated me like I was invisible. I felt judged before I even sat down. I travel often and have never felt so unwelcome." Miranda put the tablet down. "I want to see this firsthand." The room shifted again. "You mean yourself?" Mason asked. She nodded. "I'll book a seat. Casual clothes, no title, no escort. I want the real experience." Layla looked uneasy. "What if someone recognizes you?" "I walked past 4 employees in the lobby this morning, and not one knew who I was." Jordan raised an eyebrow. "Which route?" "Chicago to New York. Tomorrow. First class. Book it under M. Ellis. Personal card. No flux." There was no further debate. Miranda had made her decision. That evening, at home in her quiet Lincoln Park brownstone, she packed a single overnight bag. No designer suites. No briefcase. Just a soft sweatshirt, jeans, a ball cap, and her old leather wallet. She removed her pearl earrings and replaced them with small silver studs. Even her watch was swapped for a plain one she'd bought years ago at a thrift store. In the mirror, she saw a woman no one would guess had her name on thousands of employee badges. The next afternoon, she called a rideshare. When the driver asked, "Which terminal?" she replied, "United." A few minutes later, she corrected herself, casually. "Sorry, Altura." Old habit. At the airport, Miranda avoided the premium check-in line and joined the long general queue. The check-in agent barely looked up. "ID?" she asked flatly. Miranda handed it over. "M. Ellis. JFK. Gate B9, the woman said. No smile. No eye contact. Miranda made a mental note. She passed through security like any other passenger, no escorts. No waivers, and entered the terminal, scanning the employees and passengers with trained eyes. There was no red carpet here, just rushed travelers, overworked staff, and a sea of gate announcements echoing over tired faces. At Gate B9, she waited quietly as families, business travelers, and tourists clustered nearby. Boarding began. First came those needing assistance. Then came Altura Premier and First Class. Miranda joined the line. The gate agent glanced at her ticket with a flicker of disbelief before waving her through without a word. A man in a tailored suit ahead of her received a warm, "Welcome aboard, Mr. Patel." Miranda said nothing. At the aircraft door, a flight attendant named Kara greeted passengers. When Mr. Patel approached, she lit up. "We've got your usual seat ready, sir. Can I get you a mimosa?" Then Miranda stepped forward. Kara's eyes narrowed. "Boarding pass." She scanned it. Left aisle. No Ismail. No offer of assistance. Miranda nodded and walked down the aisle. When she reached her seat too, Ash stored her bag herself and sat down quietly. Elise appeared with a tray of drinks. "Pre-departure beverage?" she asked mechanically. "Sparkling water, please," Miranda replied. Elise poured the drink with a sigh and dropped it on her tray table with an indifferent "here you go." As the cabin filled, Miranda noticed a young man mid-20s, hoodie and sneakers entering First Class. Kara stepped in his path. "Sir, I need to see that again." He showed his boarding pass. "I got an upgrade. Frequent flyer program." Kara stared at it for a moment too long before stepping aside. To the left, the young man took the seat across from Miranda. He looked anxious. "Rough welcome?" she asked quietly. He smiled awkwardly. "You could say that." As takeoff approached, Miranda stood to use the restroom. On the way, she passed the galley where Kara and Elise were whispering. "Did you see that kid's shoes?" Elise said, "Can't believe they let people like that up here. Cara es mirkiv." And that woman in two, it looks like she just rolled out of a PDA meeting. They laughed. Miranda kept walking. She returned to her seat, her calm demeanor belying the heat rising in her chest. Later, during meal service, Elise practically tossed Miranda's plate down, unlike the artful presentations she gave to those in suits. When Miranda requested more water, it took 15 minutes and a call button press before anyone responded. She didn't speak. Not yet. But when Kara leaned over to collect her barely touched dessert and muttered, "Not to your taste," with a knowing smirk, Miranda looked up. "I'd like to speak to the purser." "Kara blinked. Mang." "The purser, please." Minutes later, a third attendant appeared. Her name tag read Rita, lead attendant. "Yes. I'd like to understand why your service varies depending on how someone is dressed." Silence. "I'm not following," Rita said. Miranda reached into her bag and pulled out a slim leather case. She flipped it open, revealing her Altura Airlines CEO ID. "My name is Miranda Ellis. I run this airline." Kara's mouth opened, then closed. Elise looked down, color draining from her cheeks. "We didn't know," Kara began. "That's the issue," Miranda replied calmly. "You shouldn't have to know." Rita cleared her throat. "Miss Ellis, I assure you." "No," Miranda interrupted. "We'll discuss this after landing." The attendants scurried away. Miranda leaned back in her seat. Across the aisle, the young man whispered, "That was incredible." She smiled. "I'm Miranda." "Liam Cho," he said. "I do software for a healthcare startup." "Do you fly off it?" "Twice a month." "And this kind of treatment?" "Every single time." She extended her hand. "Noted." After landing, a polite announcement came over the PA. "We'd like to thank all passengers, including a very special guest Altura Airlines EO Miranda Ellis for flying with us today." Heads turned. Gasps echoed. Liam chuckled. "They're going to remember your face now." As passengers deplaned, Miranda approached the three attendants near the galley. "Crew rest area." Now. They followed. Inside the quiet cabin, she looked them over. "I'm not firing anyone today," she began. "But what I witnessed will not be ignored." Rita nodded. "Understood. You'll all be on leave for 1 week. During that time, you'll complete intensive service training focused on unconscious bias. When you return, you'll be paired with veteran mentors." Elise blinked. "Even me?" Miranda looked her in the eye. "Especially you." 6 months later, Miranda stood in the same boardroom, presenting a new initiative, Service without assumption. Customer satisfaction was up 23%. First-class loyalty had surged. Complaints about biased treatment had dropped dramatically. Layla smiled. We've retrained over 5,000 employees. And the crew from your flight? Mason asked. Kara leads a training module now, Miranda replied. Rita became a mentor. And Elise apologized. She's doing better. As the room emptied, Miranda lingered by the window again, watching planes lift into the golden sky. Somewhere out there, someone in jeans and a hoodie would be treated like they mattered. And that was the real altitude she cared about.